Hi guys, this is Geo Simpson with EDL 560 Spring 2014 with the last module, Module 5, case study number 2. I chose They Won't Fire the Whole Staff on page 193 at Hometown Technical College. And the key stakeholders are Amy Rhodes, Assistant Director of Residence Life, Jennifer Fetter, Hall Director and responsible for 3 residence halls, Alyssa Palmer, Officer Cave, Josh Hampton, and other RAs, and Matt Schaufler, the Director of Judicial Affairs. Okay, there's key issues in this case involve a residence hall where there are 15 RAs, and there was a one morning right at the beginning of the semester. It was discovered that someone had had a wild party and there were beer cans, liquor bottles, and of course alcohol was not allowed. Initially it was thought that it was a fraternity because it was in a fraternity's room within a residence hall that it occurred. Well, it actually turned out that it was the RAs. 13 out of 15 had a party, and they knew they were to enforce the rules, so they knew the rules that alcoholism was not allowed. Not alcoholism, but alcohol was not allowed, and parties of this kind were not allowed. And so the title is "They Won't Fire the Whole Staff." Okay, and so what happened was these students actually tried to hide it by not allowing the report to get across campus. And when the report didn't get across campus in the normal 24 to 48 hours, a copy of the report was brought over by hand. And so now I've got to discuss the reactive response. What was done in this case, in this book, was that, first of all, because the students, the 13 out of 15, admitted guilt, they decided to have a 2-step process. And the first part of the process was each student would be penalized individually for their participation. Each RA would be penalized individually. And I do agree with that because each of them made a decision that they would throw this party, thought that they wouldn't get caught, or perhaps thought that they could stop any incident from getting across campus. And so they were required to create a alcoholism awareness course and then to have to present that. But then there's a second part of the process, and I agree with that as well. There has to be a decision made as to whether or not those 13 RAs were going to be fired. It's at the beginning of the semester. They're needed. People around campus heard about it, and they began to say, the campus began to get on the side of the 13 employees, the young people, and rally around them and ask that they do not be fired. It became to be a kind of a political, on-campus political swell of support for them. And so Amy and Jennifer have to make a decision as to what they're going to do about the employment of the 13 out of 15. It's going to affect them. They will have to hire new people. They would have to just throw a lot of things in disarray. Those 13 RAs, many of them were second-year RAs. They're well beloved. They're entrenched. So what should we do to fix this problem? The reactive response, my reactive response would be similar. Deal with each person individually. Now, the part of the 13, I think that I would, as a reaction in deciding about their jobs, I would investigate a little further and see who participated in delaying the reports, because we can't have RAs delaying safety reports, and it was a safety report that did not get across campus to the safety officer. That person needs to be fired, or those people need to be fired, because safety is an issue, and safety reports from RAs and from residence halls not getting across campus can be a suable offense to the university. Or someone reports suicide or talks about suicide, and reports don't get across because an RA is used to doing it for these type of events and doesn't feel like it really amounts to anything. So they won't do it for that type of event. So we have to show that safety reports have to be treated as a fireable offense. Now, in the bylaws, bringing alcohol in as an employee in an RE is a fireable offense. But since there were 13, I would not necessarily fire them all for that, but I would, if the party was initiated by one person, if one person really drummed up the support, or several, 2 or 3, I'd fire them. But since it's 13 about the alcohol, I would do this. I would, there's fines as far as pay. There are suspensions. There are reassignments that you can do. It's very important that all RAs all across campus understand that this can't happen again. So you have to leave an impression like this is not something we're going to risk doing again. Okay. Lastly, I'm going to talk about the proactive response, something that will keep this from not happening again. It flows right out of what I just said. I think anonymously, there should be a campaign to let other employees know the repercussions that happen to these individuals anonymously. If you do such things, these things will happen. You don't have to put individuals, employees' names on those things, but you can address this issue in such a way as that incorporated into the training process. This happened on our campus. This is what happened to these individuals. We fired 10 of them because 10 of them participated in delaying or removing reports that should have gotten across campus, safety reports. We did this to a certain number that brought alcohol in through a wild party when they themselves were supposed to show leadership in the dorms and in the residence halls. And so that would be my proactive response, to make awareness in the training process and among other RAs around campus that these actions are not acceptable. Thank you.